Greetings everyone, this is Jasmina, and in this video I'm going to talk about negative facing in the sanher system. Now this information basically comes from chapter 3.3 of Water, Water Everywhere, and there are certain setups that are usually pretty specific that have negative facing, that is, it will lead to negative things. But there's a few of these that can be easily improved, largely by tilting your door. But other times it takes a lot more work. Now, this is another one of those systems that uses only the clockwise 12G cycle. So we get right to these. Now, this is the worst possible arrangement. Everything will go wrong, basically, under these conditions. That is, if you face your house, the main door faces the conceived direction, it exits in gun, and it comes in at prosper. Now, this is one of these things you really want to avoid. However, the easiest thing to do is to tilt your door. If you can get it into the dragon sector, then you've met the royal mile arrangement, which is very, very good. And it does, of course, help if you have some other good landforms like a mountain in an appropriate place and so forth. And if the rest of the San Yuan formations you have in the house are good, then definitely tilt the door. And then you're out of this problem. Now, this is a situation where you're facing the grave. The water comes in the conceived sector, and of course also leads at the grave. Now you don't want your house facing and the waters flow right after the water mouth. You don't want that to be in line with each other. They need to be a few degrees off at least. So it's a bit easier if your house is facing the ox and the water's facing the yin water, the water exit. Then it's a lot easier to make sure you're okay. But if you have the situation, if the rest of the landforms are good, if you tilt it towards the extinct, you actually end up with one of the compliant facing direction arrangements, which I've already talked about. Now, this one is an arrangement that tends to lead to poverty, and you won't have any children, or at least none that survive. And they say there's no easy remedy, but I'm going to talk about general remedies at the end of all of these. I think there is ways to fix this. It doesn't necessarily make it good, but it gets rid of the bad. So that's always good, as long as you get rid of the bad. So here you must have it come in at bath and exit at conceived. And you're facing nurture. This one enters at weakening. Your house is facing in the sick direction and it exits in the conceived. It does lead to poverty, but you do have descendants. And again, there's no easy remedy. This one enters at youth. You're facing bath and you exit in the extinct. And this one says there's no easy remedy. That's what it says in the book. And what it leads to is general bad luck, and you're very likely not to have descendants. It doesn't mean you can't. It happens occasionally, but often it doesn't. But if you just move your door, you might have to move it to a different wall or have a more significant remodel. But if you move the door facing to the nurture sector, especially the dragon sector, and the water mouth is in gun and not in tiger, then you have a royal mile formation. So that's very good. So I think, unlike it says in the book, this isn't that hard to have a remedy here. And it's a very good remedy. Now there's two types of premature exits, and as you might expect, it means early death. And here it's coming in at officer, you're facing death, and it leaves in an extinct. Now, it states in the book there's no easy remedy, but they say under special circumstances, which they do not describe, it can be converted into dissolving killings into power. Now, they don't tell you what this is, and I cannot find this phrase on Google either. So this is some very mysterious thing that that you would have to probably pay quite a bit of money to learn, and I don't know if I even believe it, because if it really worked, you think somebody would say something. Now this is the second one. Again, it's early death. It comes in at officer, leaves it conceived, and again you're facing death. This one, it only really affects the children in the household. You're entering a weakening, facing sick, and it exits in the grave. This one now affects adults, and that includes adult children who still live at home. And again, no easy remedy. It's again entering weakening. You're facing the sick, but now it's exiting in the extinct. Now this one, your finances and your children are negatively affected. It's entering at nurture. You're facing the conceived direction, and it exits at grave. So this is what we have in our test house. We have water coming in here at growth, and we have the water mouth in the gun, and we have a conceive. So we have this, but we don't have this. We don't have the water coming all the way around this way. So we do not meet the negative facing requirements, which is very nice. But still, when we look at all this, if you've watched the compliant facing, if we were to tilt these doors to face nurture, especially the dragon, and the water mouth is indeed at gun, then you actually have the royal mile formation, which is really good. So this one is very, very fixable. And it would be in the method in which the book describes. Now, the thing is, although the majority of these negative facing arrangements, there are no easy remedies, but it does stand to reason that either tilting the door or moving the main door to like another wall so that its directions change considerably, it should eliminate the negative. Now, it probably won't create any positive effects, but that's certainly better. It's better to get rid of the negative effects and have no effect. So if for example, have moved the door to a different wall, you basically disconnect from the river. But that's better than having a negative facing, at least in my book. Now, I would personally avoid such places, but if there were other reasons to stay because of whatever, moving the main door at least should eliminate the problems. And so long as the rest of the sanher, Sanyuan feng shui is good, I would say it would be okay, as long as you can move the door. And then I don't think this is such a big deal, because the sanher only works very slowly. And the Sanyuan actually can keep you improving over time by continual little tweaks here and there. So that's basically it. I'd like to thank you for watching. Please feel free to contact me here if you have any questions, or visit my ad-free site for more information. And if you subscribe, I will be having new videos out on a regular basis, and they mostly have to do with San Yuan, but I will have some more sanher videos out in the next coming months. Thank you again for watching.